Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and Manchester United are through to the next round of the Europa League. This is what matters. This is what it's all about. And I just want to say from the very start, Ruben Amorim deserves a lot of shout outs. Yes, Bruno. Yes, Dorgu. Yes, Xerxes. Yes, Heaven. Actually, Casemiro, Rasmus, Delo, Delit, lots of good performances tonight. But Amorim deserves a massive shout out, and it will go unnoticed by people who don't think on a deeper level. You know it on the watch along, I know it. First half, United, that was a 50-50 game. We were misplacing passes, we were shooting, we were hitting long balls. Somebody needed to simplify that game. Second half, completely different side. Less long balls, nobody was shooting from stupid areas. It was a completely different approach. They simplified the game and we were much better. Chance after chance after chance. The penalty came from a brilliant bit of play between Bruno, Xerxes and Rasmus, and that's what led to the penalty. The red card came from a brilliant ball from Xerxes and a brilliant run from Dorgu. And you've got to take your hat off because for months and months we've heard about system. He's got to change the system. He needs to change the system. You know, all these Pratt ex-players and pundits got to change the system. Why the system won't work. Why the system will never work at Man United. Why he needs to change the system to what? They never told us what system it was going to be. There's nothing wrong with the system. The players probably just aren't good enough. But they are getting better with it. And, I mean, what we saw in the first half is the problem. There's no way Ruben Amorim's sending them out to hit long balls and shoot from distance. And at half-time, he has to say to them, stop hitting long balls and shooting from distance. And they do it, and we play better, and that's what he's up against. It wasn't a 90-minute performance. It was a 45-minute performance. And against a better team, you might be going in at half-time 2 or 3-1 down. So still lots of work to do, and I think people need to realise that. And the players take the credit. Of course they do. But Amorim definitely said something at half-time, and it made a big difference. And fair play to the players who responded to it. It's almost like they go into a game and they're like the rabbit in the headlights. They don't simplify the game. And they did second half, and it was so much better. Bruno was fantastic. Casemiro was fantastic. Xerxes continued it. It was a really good second half, and there's no way. Look, Sociedad deserved to get knocked out for the Poznan in Sociedad. You know, chat shit, get banged. But they can't moan about anything. Their penalty was soft. Our penalty was soft. The Dorgu one was the biggest penalty of the lot. The red card was 100% correct. If that had have happened at the other end, I couldn't have complained. And we've won the game. And look, Sociedad, exactly as I said in both previews, they don't score many goals. Both their goals were penalties. And realistically, I'm just happy that the season isn't over. I can't tell you this week, you've probably felt the same as me. All week I've been like, I think we should win the game. But looking at the games we've lost this season, we could easily lose this game. If we lose this game, the season is over in the middle of March. How depressing would that be to be sat here now going, that's it, the season's over. And it's not like you can look forward to the transfer window because we've got no idea what money we've got. So it would have been horrific. So celebrate that tonight. At least we've got another month where this season's alive because international break, 2 legs in April. We're going to at least get to near the end of April still with the season alive. I think that's something to celebrate. Don't forget to do your player ratings. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. The link is in the video description if you need to sign up. It's worked really well since we brought that system in, and I'm very excited to do the player ratings tonight because actually, for the first time, I don't know, probably the first time under Amorim, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe the City game to be fair, maybe Arsenal or Liverpool. I think we've got a rare occasion where nobody played badly. Nobody should be getting less than a 6. Which, to be fair, you know what? You can't argue with the players' dedication today. I just think in the first half they just weren't concentrating. But in the second half they did, and I think it was brilliant. And I do want to say as well, look, people are talking about winning the Europa League, and that's fantastic that people are doing that because I said in January we'd win the Europa League. So if we do, I'm the GOAT. But jokes aside, let's get real. Let's get real. I like the excitement. Let's not quell the excitement, but let's get real. Lyon will be better than Sociedad. And Athletic Bilbao, who would be waiting in the semi-final, I think, are better than Lyon. Like, Sociedad are mid-table La Liga and can't score goals. Athletic Bilbao are top 4 La Liga and do score goals. So just because we beat Sociedad, we aren't winning this tournament playing like that. We're going to have to get better. And let's not forget, we went 2-1 up in this game because of a penalty, and then we scored 2 goals because they were down to 10 men. So we've still got a lot of work to do. So I like the excitement. I like the buzz. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm excited. The season's still alive, and that makes me feel giddy, not just the painkillers. But there's a lot of work to be done. And we've really got to try and look after this team, because you know what? I look at Xerxes, Garnacho, Rasmus in the second half, and I'm looking at them and I'm going, there is such thing as pulling your hamstring or pulling a muscle. They are playing a lot of games and there are no subs. We've got no subs for the front three. Whatever you think about them, we haven't got any subs. So if Mason Mount can get back, that's one player that can play in that position. If Mainu can come back, that's 2 players that can play in that position. So we need to get some players back, because there are still a lot of games to play. You know, you've got Leicester on Sunday, you've got an international break, Premier League games are still going to be there. We've got to protect these players, because you know what? However Amrim did it, however the players did it this week, they actually kept their fitness levels really high for 90 minutes. But that's going to be really hard to do when you're playing Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, Thursday. So we're going to have to look at that. Now, the reason I mentioned that is because Jose Mourinho did this when he won the Europa League. It got to a point in April where he started picking reserves in the Premier League. And yeah, it can be embarrassing because you might get beat by Everton or whoever else we've got to play, Man City, but we've got to start doing that. If we want to win this Europa League, we've got to start thinking like Mourinho did. You've got to start going, oh, you know what? You know what you can do? You know what you can do with your Manchester Derby pride? You can shove it up your arse, because this is 80 million quid and a trophy, and it can change our future. People talk about winning the Premier League in 2028. People talk about the new stadium. This moment now, forget 5 years' time. I'm thinking about the next 5 weeks. If we can, we're in with a fight. We're going to have to fight for it, but we're in with a chance. It's not the Champions League. It's not Mission Impossible. It's going to be difficult, but we've got a chance. We have a chance. I'm not saying we're going to win the Europa League, even though I did in January. I don't think from tonight you can say we're going to win it, but we've got a chance, and it's going to be a scrap. And along the way, red cards or penalties might go for us again. They might go against us. Semi-final, quarter-final, second legs at Old Trafford. So we've got a chance. And then you're in a final. But I wouldn't say we're favourites. And if we're going to have a chance, we've got to look after the squad. We can't afford any more injuries. And to be honest with you, in the Premier League, I haven't got a problem with playing a few of the kids. If it means people like Rasmus, Xerxes, Garnacho are fresh for the Thursday night game, I haven't got a problem with it. And we've got to start thinking about that, because this season would have been over tonight. So imagine if it was over, you wouldn't have given a shit about the Premier League. So I still don't give a shit about the Premier League. It's the Europa League. That's all that matters. Simply Red says, what a game, Xerxes, Dorgu and Casemiro. Says simply, I mean, it's nice of you to throw Casemiro in there, but I think everybody's going to have their own thoughts. I saw somebody on Twitter saying, never disrespect Casemiro again. And I thought, well, if Casemiro played like he did in the second half every week for the last year, he wouldn't get any disrespect. Let's not take it to the playground. Like, let's judge it on today. You know, some people have criticised Bruno. I've criticised Bruno. I've criticised Casemiro. I've criticised Garnacho in the first half. I think these things are... The criticism is fair. We're 14th in the league. Our season was nearly over in the middle of March. There's a reason we are where we are, and it's a collective reason. But Casemiro's second half was brilliant. Brilliant. Explain it to me. I don't know. Why? Why can't he do that more often? Why was he brilliant second half? Before it went down to 10 men, he was brilliant. You know, Delo made a right cock up, didn't he, at 2-1, and Casemiro's tackle was brilliant. So my opinion with Casemiro is he's finished. Like, he's gone in the summer, he needs to go. But if he can do a job for us between now and the end of the season, which he has done, and it must be applauded. Agate didn't play 1 minute. He wasn't ready. Agate clearly wasn't ready. Nobody's going to figure that out until we think about it now, but Agate clearly wasn't ready. He didn't use him. He brought Collier on. So Casemiro's job in the last few weeks has been essential, and that should be applauded. Are we getting value for the money? No. Has he been good for a year? No. But it's like Matic, isn't it? And we will play Matic in the semi-final. Ricky's going to love it. 2 + 2 is Matic. Well, he'd probably be on the bench. But Matic was shit for a year, and then from nowhere, he suddenly got good again. It can happen. Casemiro's got to go in the summer, obviously. The wage is too much for what we get. But I'm not going to knock. I don't do player FC and I don't do agenda. And if a player puts in a performance, I'll be the first one to say he played well. And I thought he did play really well second half. I thought Heaven, for 18 years of age, to play 90 minutes and be picked ahead of Lindelof, brave from Amorim, shows what he wants to do. I've seen people in recent weeks saying, why isn't he playing the kids? Why isn't he playing the kids? And I always said, he will play the kids. Look at Sporting. He will play the kids, but he obviously doesn't feel that people like Amas and Fletcher, it's fair to throw them in. And yet he'll throw Heaven in the biggest game of the season at 18 years of age and not pick Lindelof. So Amorim will pick the players. And I think what people need to learn is stop getting excited about young players being on the bench and demanding that they play. They will get picked if they're ready. And Heaven is ready, and he proved it tonight. And he was brilliant. Dorgu, first half, was off it. Second half, amazing. I could see people in the first half, though, in the watch-along going, Dorgu's a flop, Dorgu's a load of shit. And I'm like, this is exactly what people did to Xerxes in September. And now you're eating your words. Stop listening to that idiot in your head and start thinking, young player, new signing, need time. Dorgu was brilliant in the second half, and that is 100% a red card. No one's catching him. He's not going to get caught. That's 100% a red card. He was brilliant second half. One as a penalty, one as the red card, game changer. Xerxes was probably going to be my man of the match. I thought he played really well. A bit like Rasmus, they both could have scored. They both could have scored. Some people would have said should have scored. But the pass from Xerxes, Xerxes is not a number 9. And he's a number 10. And he'd be wasted as a number 9 because he's going to be too far off the play waiting for service. He's got to play in that link-up role. He's got that Berbatov, Cantona, Bergkamp, he's got that Martial. I'm not comparing him to them, but he's got that sort of va-va-voom. No, that's Henri. He's got that je ne sais quoi. He's got that, fuck the French. He's got that thing about him that's just effortless. And if I think the big thing with Xerxes is a lot of people wrote him off, but I think he was thinking about Italy. And I think in January, something switched where he said he stopped thinking about Italy. And he was like, I'm a Man United player. And I think ever since that, maybe he was a bit unsettled. It can happen. But he's been brilliant ever since January, and he's getting better and better. And for season 1, you look at De Ligt, you look at Agate, you look at Xerxes, you look at Mazraoui, you look at Yoro. They all got criticised. Gary Neville was saying Man United had a crap summer, and I just don't agree. And in a way, that's pro-Ineos. But I'm not pro-Ineos, and I'm not pro-Sir Jim Radcliffe. But I've always said I felt that summer transfer window was a good one. And I always said that I felt that some of the criticisms of the signings were disgusting, mainly from the mainstream, ex-players, etc. And some of our fans fell for it. But you don't judge a new signing in the first year. You don't. You've got to give them a year. And I think all of them, collectively, in their own way, are doing really well. And, De Ligt was a rock tonight. Mazraoui was a rock. Don't blame De Ligt for the penalty. You've got to make that tackle. Sometimes you get away with it. Sometimes you clip him and it's a penalty. So, yeah, I thought Xerxes was fantastic as well. But I can't overstate how important winning that game is for our season. It puts a smile on everyone's face. And we deserve that. As a fan base, we deserve a smile on our face, because I've been so worried this week about sitting tomorrow morning and trying to do a 10 a.m. show and trying to justify the next 2.5 months on some transfer window I haven't got a bloody clue about and a season that doesn't mean anything anymore. And we don't deserve that. Manchester United should not have its season over in the middle of March. And that's what I'm grateful for tonight. Every player, every manager, every coach, the manager. Look, I know they've pissed us off a lot this year, but when they do something like that and it benefits us as the fans, I will applaud it. And it was good tonight. It was good. There's still a lot of work to do. I don't think that was a performance where you go, we're going to win the tournament, but hopefully it's a performance where a few goals, a few beliefs. I really liked as well what I liked tonight as well. And again, maybe it's the first time I've noticed it. I always see the defence doing fist pumps and bouncing off each other. But I saw it with the attack today. From very early in the game, I saw Xerxes and Rasmus doing it. I saw Garnacho and Rasmus doing it. And they played more collective as a team, as a front three. And I think that's so important. Because you know what? I could steal it, but I'm not going to. At times in the first half, it was almost like people weren't trying to win the Europa League. They were trying to win the Puskas Award. Because people were just shooting from stupid areas. And I think that's true. And the long balls were there, as we discussed. And you sort of like, the first 10 minutes were shit. Considering we all know what a big game this is, and it's at Old Trafford, and Old Trafford crowd was brilliant, and they're simmering again. And the first 10 minutes were dreadful. Long balls, giving the possession away. Sociedad were the better team. It culminated in the penalty, but they were the better team. And you sort of like go, how do we do this? How do we know it's a big game? How do we know the crowd are up for it and not produce? And I just think it's that immaturity that Amorim obviously grabbed in the second half. I think that's what's happened. Don't forget to do your player ratings. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. We're going to do that. It's Brandon says it's the system, Mark. Mr. Glenn Johnson says we have been around long enough now. How many youth we spoiled the potential off by pushing them too early. United is known for spoiling potentials, says Mr. Glenn Johnson. I just think there's a lot of people tonight that are, should be apologising to Ruben Amorim. I think that the system obsession, it's not going to work, this, that and the other, it was always going to take time. And I just don't know why people can't give it time, whether it's a young player, whether it's a new signing, whether it's a new manager. I mean, I'm not waiting 5 years for a new stadium, and I'm not putting up with a shit summer transfer window. But I will give the manager time, and I will give some of these young players and new signings time, of course. We had so many good players that I almost forgot how good Dorgu was, says Sebastian. Overall, it seemed like we played with passion. It was lovely to be smiling after the game like that, says Scott. It's a lovely feeling, Scott, isn't it? The United crowd chanted Xerxes' name the game after he was subbed early, and he reacted, says Lee. Respect to Amorim, trusting Heaven and Dorgu on the same side. Heaven is going to the moon, says Buff. Can't remember last time I didn't want a game to end, says Danny. Does Xerxes remind anyone of Nanny, says Mrs. Stone? It doesn't me, but might remind some. Sky Germany, Austria said the new stadium looks like a bowl without a soul. Love that comment, says Christian. To hear Old Trafford this loud made me cry, says Jonas. Great result, but I'm no way confident these guys will show up against the Premier League team. A mid-table Brentford is superior to mid-table Sociedad. Yeah, but you know what, Red Devil? I couldn't give a toss about the Premier League. Our record in the Europa League is very good. I couldn't give a toss if we lost every Premier League game from now till the end of May and won the Europa League. I'll be honest. But everyone played well tonight, even Delo and Casemiro. I'd give Bruno man of the match with Dorgu and Xerxes not far behind, says United Nick. Let's mention the fact that Dorgu told the ref it wasn't a penalty, says Jamie. I mean, I love the honesty, but if that was the last minute and we were 1-0 down, I don't think you'd do it, would you? But yeah, we were in a position, good sportsmanship from a young player, says Jamie. Scott Burrows, welcome to Members Club. Mojo's Gifty 50 memberships. He's a legend, of course. Lovely to do that on a lovely night for United. 46,000 watching. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Wayne Finnegan says, heart, passion, desire, grit, determination, will to win. Outstanding. Absolutely fantastic game, says Wayne. For Man United fans, I hope Man United win the Europa League, says Mamba. Heaven cost 1 million, says Sweeney. Finally, a reason to celebrate a bit, says Mojo. Wish we could play Sociedad every week, says Neptune. Yeah, I'll teach him to do the bloody Poznan. If United were to win a Premier League in the next 10 years, I could easily see De Ligt doing it with us, says Connor. What a game by Xerxes, Dorgu and Casemiro, says Simply Red. Mark, do you want him to play the kids in the league for the rest of the season? Rojan, I really don't care. It's the Europa League. That's all I'm bothered about now. I don't want to risk players, injury or anything in the Prem. So whatever he decides is fine by me. So happy that has given me such a lift. Let's go for the trophy, says Simon. I'm going to Old Trafford for the first game against Wolves, which is 100% going to be rescheduled. Wolves is on the 19th. Yeah, it will be. I don't know when we play these games, but they are definitely in April. Xerxes put in a number of good performances on the bounce. Would have been man of the match without Bruno. I completely agree, Sweeney. Robbie Day's a new member. What a game for the confidence, says Lewis. Bring on the French, says Tom. Luis Enrique and Dembele in the summer, says Chris. This is the difference between having a proper left back. It was a great point, Sean. Great point. Manican says, has gifted 5 memberships. Delo owed Hoyland one, says John. Yeah, it's ironic, isn't it? That it's absolutely ironic. Great point that last week Delo didn't pass the ball to Rasmus for a tap in, and this week Rasmus passes it to Delo for a tap in. Maybe Delo will start figuring out how to cross the ball now. Today we saw the Real United, says Lunda. Casemiro is going to get drug tested after the game, says Beck. Corey, thanks for remembering for 39 months. Bruno is the problem, says Paul W. Yeah, I mean, let's grow up a little bit. We're all in a good mood here. Let's not try the whole "I told you so" bollocks. We all know that certain players have played badly over this season, but I think tonight it's not a night for that conversation. I think the thing is that first half people were playing as individuals. Second half they played as a team, which was the better half. And I think that's probably what Amorim said at half time. Stop playing as individuals and trust each other as a team. And I don't think we do that. I don't think people trust each other. And that's why people shoot from distance or try a Hollywood pass. And I think second half they played as a team. That penalty came from brilliant play between Bruno, Xerxes and Rasmus. And they couldn't live with it. I want to see us do that more. That is the Amorim style. They've just got to trust each other. Armin, welcome to Members Club. What an improvement from Delo, says Paolo. I mean, look, I'll talk about Delo in a minute. What do you know about Lyon? Haven't seen them. Don't know much, Darry. I will have to start doing some research. I had to stay back work today overtime and we play like this, says DV. Well, at least we're still in it, mate. You'll get to see us in the next round. One word to describe Xerxes is elegant, says Koala. Rail sausage dad, Dorgu sportsmanship on the pen, says West Rum. Bruno silencing the haters again. Sit down, Roy Keane. See, I don't want to listen to that Macedonian. I think what Roy Keane said was valid, but it's not a conversation for tonight because when players perform in a Man United shirt, they're doing what Roy Keane and many of us want to happen. I told you so is not going to work, is it? Because next time we play shit and we get beat 3 or 4-0 and he has a bad game, you'll all be going, he's shit again. You just got to judge it on the performance. Long time since I enjoyed a Thursday, says Dewan. And just so you know, Mark, the number 1 as a number is blocked by the filter. No idea why. Anyway, Dorgu, man of the match. Well, why are you trying to give someone a 1 nervous? Dorgu was on fire. I would love to have Zubamendi near Agate, says Desiree. It's the system. Thank you. Right, I'm going to do player ratings. Oh, God. This is going to hurt me because I've got to stretch. Okay. Let me see if this works. Okay. There we go. Okay. So, I'm just going to refresh one more time. Hopefully, you've all done your player ratings. So, an Anna for me would be a 6 tonight. And I agree. Did nothing wrong. I'm trying to think about an Anna. Well, he ain't a ball-playing goalkeeper, is he? He's not a ball-playing goalkeeper. I don't know whether that's a confidence thing, but he don't look like a ball-playing goalkeeper. But there was one point in the first half where he made a really good high claim. He's never going to save a penalty, is he? So I'd give him a 6 tonight. He hasn't done anything wrong tonight. Some people are giving him a 7. On what justification? Like, I don't remember. Oh, there was that shot from the corner on the front. I don't think he had a lot to do, is what I'm saying. Like, you can't give somebody a 7 when they didn't have a lot to do. And I said that in both previews. Sociedad don't create many chances. 6. Mazraoui turned into prime Saka at one point. I mean, bloody hell, 7. Yeah, comfortable 7. I mean, this is Mazraoui, isn't it? He had one of them games tonight, which he seemed to have for the first 3 months, where he was just absolutely imperious. And that skill at the end was brilliant. I love Mazraoui. He's been a brilliant signing for us, and I think he was really good tonight. And experience, which is so important. Similarly for De Ligt, again 7 for me. Leader at the back, got an 18-year-old on his left-hand side that he helped out a lot. Organised, bit unlucky on the penalty, but you've got to make those challenges. I'm never going to knock a player because people, you know, in that situation, if he leaves him, it's a tap in. So, and then he gets criticised. It's not really his fault how it breaks to the right-hand side, and it's not really his fault where he is as a defender. He's got to make the challenge. And but overall, I thought, you know, on both legs, I think we kept them really quiet, and I think De Ligt is playing really well at the moment. Heaven, because he's 18, I'd give him a 7.5. I think that to be thrown into that situation and do that and keep Lindelof on the bench, I just think that I'm old enough, I've played the game to know that it's difficult. It's difficult in games of that magnitude for somebody to come in and do that, and we shouldn't underestimate it. It's you know, ironically, he's called Heaven because he has been a godsend. You know, you think about all the injuries we've got: Martinez, Yoro, Maguire, Evans. And him being here has been brilliant for us, really. Delo, I'd give him a 6.5 for the goal, but I will be honest, if he hadn't scored that goal, I think he had a really quiet game. I barely noticed him in the first half. Second half, I don't really remember much apart from one good cross and the mistake that Casemiro bailed him out from. The goal was good though, so I'll give him 6.5 because he scored a good goal, but I actually think he had quite a quiet game up until that point. And there's still a lot of work for Delo to do, if I'm being completely honest, but hopefully that can be a bit of a confidence boost. And he had a different, you know, I agree with SX64. He did have Becker, who looked good in the first leg. So, you know, I wouldn't say it was a bad performance, just probably 6 before the goal, so 6.5. Casemiro, I'd give him a 6.5. No, I'd give him a 7, actually. I'll give him a 7, yeah, because first half was a bit like Man United, just good bits, bad bits. Second half, I thought he was flawless, really. The cover on Delo was brilliant. The maturity of, you know, just sitting and running the midfield and playing the right pass at the right time and the right tackle. It's a shame we just can't have Casemiro of that first year. It's very clear that it's a speed thing, isn't it? Like in the first year he was amazing, and then obviously age caught up with him because he's never going to get that yard of pace back, which he's lost. So, but I'd give him a 7 tonight. I think it was a really good second half. Really good second half. Bruno, I would give him an 8.5. Yeah, and he's got to have man of the match. I think when you score a hat trick, you know, realistically, when you score a hat trick, you could be heading for 9s and 9.5s. 2 of them were penalties, but the third goal was great. The second penalty came from good build-up play from him. Little bit like Casemiro in the first half. I think it was a bit good bits, bad bits, but second half it was a really good performance, and he has to be the guy. I said this at half time. He's got to be the guy that simplifies things. It's all right Amrim saying it before the game and after the game, but in the first half, people were shooting, people were hitting long balls. In the second half, they weren't. And Bruno's got to play a part in that as well. So it's not just the goals. He's obviously played a part in calming the team down in the second half, which is really, really important. So, yeah, I'd give him an 8.5. Dorgu, 7.5 for me. Oh, bloody hell. I'll tell you what, I'm loving this new player rating system. We're so in tune, it seems like. Yeah, first half, little bit like Bruno, Casemiro, little bit good bits, bad bits. Second half, again, flawless. One is the penalty. One is the red card. Provided genuine width. I will never stop saying it's criminal how United thought they didn't need a left back. Last summer transfer window, the January transfer window before that. Why Man United didn't play with a left back for so long is incredible to me, because at the senior level of football, it's about balance, and Dorgu brings natural balance. A left-footed player running down the left-hand side who doesn't want to use their right foot. And you can see it. I said this in January. Dorgu doesn't even have to be that good. As long as he's half good, he'll look good. Fortunately, he is really good, and the potential is clearly there. He's going to have ups and downs. Like, he's going to have bad games and good games because he's a young player, but the potential is clearly there. And the exciting thing is that obviously we already know that Amrim wanted Mendes, and if you watched PSG against Liverpool, you can see why he wanted Mendes. But Mendes is more further along the road. He'd be a plan A. Dorgu, I feel, is plan B. And yeah, obviously you want to get your plan B, your plan A's, but if you're not always going to get your plan A's, especially when you're Man United and where we are at the moment. So at least we didn't end up with a plan D or E. I think with Dorgu, you could see him being where Mendes is in a couple of years' time, and I think he's really exciting. Garnacho for me, 7. I think that first half frustrating, second half a symbol of what happened at half time. In the second half, he was much better with the ball, and much more part of the team. So I would give Garnacho a 7. First half, I found him a bit infuriating, but second half, he was a threat. I agree with Srikan, really. 6.5 to 7 for Garnacho. But I want to give these players a boost. We've won a really important game, and I don't really see the point in wandering back into negativity. We needed a result tonight, and they all contributed to it in the second half. So I want to give them a bit of a lift, because I want them to see that when you play as a team, you get the reward. And I don't want them to see, oh yeah, wow, we played as a team, but I don't like him, he's shit. I want Garnacho to know that when he shoots and keeps the ball, people moan. But when you play as a team player, people will go, yeah, you were really good today. So I think second half, 7's a fair. What did I give Dorgu? 7.5. I mean, I'm going to give Xerxes an 8, actually. Yeah, I agree, 7.7. I'm going to give him an 8 because he would have been my man of the match. Bruno pipped him with the hat-trick. If Bruno hadn't scored the third goal, I think I would have given Bruno an 8 and Xerxes an 8 and probably given Xerxes man of the match. So I've got to be very, very consistent here. I thought he was good in the first half, and I think he was good in the second half. He was probably the best 90-minute player. I think, as I said, with Bruno in the first half, there was good bits and bad bits, but I think Xerxes across the whole 90 minutes was consistent. Probably should have got a goal. That probably would have got him man of the match. But also, you're competing against someone who's got a hat-trick. So, yeah, brilliant from Xerxes. Rasmus, actually a 7 for me. I actually think that we've won a game of football, so I want to be positive. And also, I've given him 4s and 5s for weeks. And I think from minute 1, it was very obvious that it was a different Rasmus. There was a bit more confidence, a bit more belief. It's a shame he didn't get the goal, and he probably should have got the goal. I think there was one on his right foot where he could have scored. But the assist was really good. The link-up play was good. You could see that they were working as a team, especially Xerxes and Rasmus. And look, it's all we've got for the rest of the season. So I'm hoping that they can build on that. But, look, I mean, 6.57, I'd say similar performance to Garnacho, really. But it was definitely better than a 4 or 5, which is what we've been getting for the last few weeks. And I thought the assist for Delot was really good. I mean, the skill, he skinned that player, he cut it back. But it's not just about that. He needs to add goals. But you just got to keep your head up, and hopefully they will come, really. There are people in the chat who are still calling him horrible names and stuff. And those elements of our fan base, I don't really think you deserve to even celebrate tonight. You're strange people. We're a team. We won as a team. And as a fan base, I think most people are really happy. It's strange how even on a really important, positive night, you're still riddled with toxicity. But some people want the world to burn. Some people want to be proved, you know, I think there's people out there watching that game who actually want us to lose so they can moan. Most of us didn't want that to happen. Collier came on and did a good job, 6.5. I think Collier, if he can stay fit, is going to be a really important player for us. Didn't notice Eriksson much, to be honest. I'd give him a 6. And as I said, 7.5 for Amarim. 8 if you want. I'm happy that you're higher than me. I think, as I said at the start of the video, we were not where we needed to be in the first half. And that just shows you he'll have done all the work in the week. He'll have given the team talk. He'll have told them what to do. They didn't do it in the first half the way that we needed to do it. It was too equal. Half time, they listened. And that's what he's up against. I do think it's a football IQ thing. I do think a lot of these players will have to go or learn. And not all of them will be able to learn. So he is doing it with maybe 2 arms behind his back, certainly 1 arm behind his back. But as I said last week, against Arsenal and Sociedad away, he coached a win and the players masterminded draws. Today, at half-time, the players masterminded a draw, and in the second half, he coached a win, and they did it. So, team effort, players, manager in unison, and fans, happy days. Man of the match, if he hasn't got 90% or higher, I'll be stunned. What? Bloody hell. I tell you what, fair play, because I would have thought hat-trick, he'd have been 90%, but 72%. Xerxes in second place with 18%, and then Dorgu in third place. But look, he is man of the match, no doubt about that. And a fantastic performance from Manchester United. And as I said, I need some rest. I'm in absolute pain now, but I would not have missed it. And I'm glad I spent it. Oh, what a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. Just really positive, really, really happy. Great that every player got a good score. And hopefully they're all there tonight realising that if you play as a team, You get the rewards from the fans and on the pitch. And we played as a team in the second half. We passed, we moved, we trusted. And we need to do that more because that's what the AMRIM system's all about. Thanks everyone for watching. Get yourself over to the player ratings. Get yourself over to the fan forum in Manchester. I'm trying to think what we can spam them with. I would say we're going to win it all. Take care. Thanks for watching.